Hello everyone, and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network and channel. I'm Dean, the host of the N.A.R.C.N network and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 121 of the N.A.R.C.N network series, and episode 121 will actually be part 5 where we will be talking about today. And the title of episode 121, or the episode 121 series, is How to Detach from the Narcissist. This particular part 5 episode here is entitled, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Now, we've been talking about in previous parts of this episode what to do if you're dealing with a narcissist who is a spouse or someone you live with, in that particular instance that you might have children with. We've gone over a couple of points about that stuff, and we haven't really talked so much about when you're in a situation when you're not actually living with your narcissist. We're going to be talking about that in some upcoming episodes, or some upcoming parts of this episode. But today I'm going to be speaking to you guys quickly about something else that came up, and it was brought to my attention because I was dealing with another N.A.R.C.N network person the other day who was talking to me about their particular situation with what they believe is their narcissist and how to deal with them. And this particular N.A.R.C.N network person's issue was they think that they're dealing with a narcissist, or they're pretty sure that this is what they're dealing with. But they are torn as to whether or not they should stay with this narcissist or whether or not they should leave and get out of that relationship. So, first thing I'm going to say here is that if you think you're dealing with a narcissist, and it doesn't matter what level that narcissist is, your best course of action here, no matter what level of narcissist you're dealing with, is to get out. You need to get away from that person. As I've said before in many other N.A.R.C.N episodes, it's not that narcissists can't reform. It's that 99% of the time they don't reform. And this is the problem. The way that their brains work and the way that they function in life in general is that they're these entities that are basically, improperly programmed individuals who have not normal thoughts and not normal actions and not normal. They're just not normal. These are not normal people. These are people who have people who have endured abuse or neglect or something within their upbringing that has caused them to turn into a narcissist, or they have narcissistic parents and they have picked up part of that narcissistic genome that we have talked about in previous N.A.R.C.N episodes that narcissists can pick up. Sometimes it's a combination of both of these things with these individuals. You get part of the behavior, or part of neglect, or part of whatever has affected that narcissist as a child, made them the way they are, and then you get a little bit of the mixed in DNA problems that parents who pass on these narcissistic traits to their children actually get. But the point here is that when you're dealing with a narcissist, you are dealing with a person who is not functionally normal here. They have a lot of things going on, and this makes them inherently difficult to deal with. If you think that you're going to stay with a narcissist and you're going to in some way help them to cure them, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Narcissists reform in 1% or less than 1% of the cases where the narcissist themselves realizes, they come to a realization that they are a narcissist, and they go, oh my God, I have to change myself. I have to do something so I stop basically abusing all the people around me in an unsuitable way. So less than 1% of narcissists come to this conclusion. Lots of narcissists at some point sometimes self-realize what they are, but they don't do anything about it. They don't want to do anything about it. They want to stay in their protective little shell, conducting themselves in the way that narcissists do, because it's part of what they've learned, and it's part of what protects them over time. So this particular person was torn with the factor of, do I stay with this person? Do I try to work my way through this problem with this individual? Do I try to help them reform from their narcissism? Well, you can't help them reform. Only a narcissist can reform themselves. Perhaps somebody who can help the narcissist, like a psychology professional or a therapist or somebody else who has a high degree of understanding of narcissistic disorder, like myself or any of the other experts on the internet. They can help a narcissist figure out what's wrong with themselves and possibly reform. But an uneducated person cannot do this unless they educate themselves to a very, very high degree. Because you need to know a lot of stuff to be able to help a narcissist reform, even if they want to reform, that is, which most of the time they don't. So the idea that you should stay or that you should go with that narcissist, you should go. Get away from that narcissist. If in some freak way that narcissist realizes that you're gone and this triggers some type of change out of them where they try to reform realistically and for real. We're not talking about taking, just normal therapy here for that narcissist to fix their problems or to fix their ways. You've got to dig really deep. A psychologist or a mental health professional or a therapist has to dig incredibly deep with a narcissist to be able to reform them away from that trauma. And it takes a lot of work over time. It's not going to happen overnight. It can take years and years and years. And as we know, and as we've talked about in previous N.A.R.C.N episodes, a narcissist never reforms fully. A narcissist is like a drug addict. They can always fall back into their narcissism very easily because they're stressed, because they're triggered, because something happens in their life. They are going to have to keep an eye on their narcissism their entire lives because they will never be cured of being a narcissist. This is just the way that it is. Just like an alcoholic, just like a drug abuser, once they become like this, they may be able to get themselves past some of these things that cause them to use narcissism against other people, but they will never be fully cured. And you as the person that's with them, you cannot cure them right now either unless you know all the key elements in order to assist them, and most people have no idea what those elements actually even are unless you studied narcissism like I myself have or like other people that I know have. So a narcissist, to get away from that, needs real professional mental help, mental therapy help in order to surmount issues of this nature. So to this person who was inquiring with me on the N.A.R.C.N network, my response to them was, you need to get out and you need to get away from this narcissist. This is the only way that you'll find some peace of mind and that you'll get away from that abuse that they're causing with you. You need to do this because it's just what you need to do in this instance. And this is something I just wanted to talk to you guys briefly about here in part 5 of episode 121. That is the factor that when you're dealing with a narcissist, you really do have to get away from them. Again, it's not impossible for a narcissist to reform, but it doesn't happen very often. It happens in less than 1% of instances here, and you have to pay attention to this because there's a reason why this goes on, and there's a reason why science dictates that these are the averages or the percentages of how narcissists actually reform themselves. It's because it's a very, very hard condition to surmount. And most narcissists don't even want to address this. This is part of the way that they are. They stay this way for the duration of their lives. They abuse people and misuse people. And later in life, sometimes you might catch a narcissist reforming. I have a few people on my N.A.R.C.N network too who have older parents who were narcissists. And one or two of them are in the later years of their life and they're trying to reform themselves, or so it seems. But again, staying with a narcissist, whether it's a romantic interest, whether it's a family member, whether it's somebody you're living with, whether it's a friend or anything, if they are this way, the likelihood is they're probably not going to change. You need to get away from them. You need to separate. You need to do this for yourself. and then you need to figure out what needs to go on after you achieve that goal of getting away from the narcissist. So anyway, this was just something I wanted to talk to you guys about in part 5 here. I'm going to say to you, please stay tuned for part 6 of episode 121. We're going to be talking more about how to detach from the narcissist and the different things we have to do that. Hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. I'm going to say to you all, please, by all means, have a good day today. I wish you all the best. Stay tuned for some upcoming content on the N.A.R.C.N network, and I'll catch you guys really soon.